Hey guys, welcome to my newest video. Last time we talked about flea and tick prevention. This time we're talking about treatments. So when it comes to treatment options, there are a lot of different options out there for pet owners. Thankfully, a lot of the things we went over in the first video, which I'll link here, are also available to treat fleas. Right, Finnegan? You're so happy. Now there's the veterinary route, which is the route that we talked about last time, which is things like Revolution, which are applied onto the animal and also deal with ear mites as well as fleas. These infestations can get out of hand quite quickly, so a lot of people prefer that option. There's also the non-veterinary route, which is stuff that you would get at your pet stores, or you could even get some of these options online. The main routes of application for these guys is collars, sprays, powders, and baths. Collars are used quite frequently for animals, especially cats that go outside. Collars, in my opinion, aren't very effective as they only seem to cover from the head up. So be very wary about things that claim snout to tail coverage, because honestly, in my opinion, and from what I've seen, it keeps the fleas from getting to the head, which kind of helps keep the face irritation away, but they still seem to go towards the back of the body. So this can be an issue. Yes, it can be an issue. Powders are one option that most people ask about but don't frequently purchase. The reason being is because they're actually quite messy. They come in a canister and you have to apply it to the animal, and if you have a dog that shakes often, or if you have a cat, these aren't great options because they cannot be ingested. Sprays are another option, again, that I don't see quite frequently purchased because they cannot be ingested. They're less messy than the powder option, but still, if the animal cleans itself or grooms itself, they cannot be ingested. It can cause fatalities. The other option that we see is flea baths. A lot of stores will frequently carry varying shampoos for fleas, and a lot of groomers nowadays even offer options for flea baths. Flea baths are a great option. They're a lot easier to give unless you have a cat. Cats don't like water usually, but it's the less messy of all the routes. It's the safest of all the routes with the exception of the collar. They're usually cost effective, and they're kind of cool because as you wash the dog, you can see the fleas dropping. After a flea bath, generally what groomers will recommend is that you take a flea comb and you comb through the fur of the animal because it helps to remove any debris and dead fleas. Yes, dead fleas. Oh no. I love you. Your nose is all wet. But after flea shampoos, there isn't a huge amount of options for things that are applied onto your vet except for topical solutions. All of these options you have to be very cautious about. You need to talk to a veterinary professional before applying anything, especially if you're using a flea preventative. The reason being is all of the options above contain some sort of chemical or drug that is used to kill the fleas. And by doing so, you can actually overdose your dog or cat and cause some fatalities. The rule of thumb is to wait at least 2 weeks after applying a preventative if your dog has fleas and there's still some left. This may vary for cats. I'm not too sure. I've done some research into it, but I can't seem to find one correct answer. Everybody kind of says something different. So obviously it's very important to read the instructions of any product that you use to deal with fleas and ticks. Ticks are an easier option to deal with when removing them. There isn't really any product that you can apply to remove a tick. So generally, you just have to remove them manually. There are several different products on the market to do this. You can do it with tweezers. I don't recommend tweezers. The reason being you need to remove the head of the tick as well. Tick twisters or tick keys, there's so many things out there with different names. Grab the head of the tick and pull the tick out from underneath the skin of the animal. After you've pulled the tick out, it's very important that you clean the area and apply some antibacterial cream or use alcohol in the area just to clean it out because you don't want to leave anything to chance. Obviously with ticks, it goes without saying that you want to remove a tick as soon as possible if you can, within the first 48 hours, because that's when you start to get Lyme's transmission. Lyme's is just a disease that you do not want to deal with. Let's not go there, right, Finnegan? After you treat your pet, it goes without saying that you have to treat your home. Any furniture that you have that is a cloth material, for example, anything basically that isn't leather needs to be treated. Carpets need to be treated. Mattresses, anything that you have that the pet has come into contact with needs to be treated. One of the best ways to do this is also the most expensive option, but it's fumigation. It's the most professional way of going about it, but a lot of people don't like this option because it's expensive, and oftentimes you have to vacate the home for a certain amount of time just because the chemicals they use aren't really good to be inhaling. You could also go the pet store route. In the pet stores, you can find several different things. You can find bombs, you can find flea powders and sprays for the carpets and your furniture. The option that you go with is up to you. Not one way is easier than the other, not one way is less messy than the other. So it really varies by personal preferences. Bombs usually have to be put in an area and you have to vacate the area, kind of like an exterminator for a certain amount of time. If you have a small apartment or small area, generally it is even suggested that you vacate your home and take any animals with you. Bombs go by areas, square footage. So you'll want to make sure that you get the appropriate size bomb for your living area. If you only treat certain areas, you're not going to deal with the problem and they'll just reintroduce themselves into the area. Sprays and powders are applied directly onto what you're treating. So whether it be a couch or your carpet, you lay down the powder. Certain ones you have to wait for a certain amount of time, others are shorter, so it varies by what the product is. You'll have to read the instructions for that, but you have to be very careful with these that the animal is not in the area that you're applying. Sometimes animals will eat the powder or the spray and lick it, and that's just, again, not very good for your pet. It can cause a lot of damage to them. So be very cautious about that. Generally, what I recommend with both is that you vacuum out the area or the furniture piece after it's sat for the allotted amount of time, just so you can get out all those dead fleas, any eggs that may have loosened, and you get as much of the product out of the carpet just to be on the safe side. We obviously don't want our family members to become ill or even die because of something that we could have prevented. Fleas and other things like mites can live in the carpet for quite some time. They can live in a carpet for up to over a year. So it's important that treatment is followed through several times. Sometimes what people say is that they will experience waves of fleas coming in and going out. This is because as the fleas lay eggs wherever they're doing it, the eggs will hatch and you'll produce a whole new round of adults as your other ones had just died. So it's very important to keep up on that treatment, and obviously at this stage to keep prevention on your animals, because at that point you're just going to be giving them a host to feed off of, and then you're just going to have more perpetuation. Fleas don't actually like humans. We are garbage to them. Goodbye. They don't want anything to do with us if they have another host available. If they see a dog coming around, they're just like right onto the dog or cat or bunny or whatnot. Thankfully for rabbits, there are also prevention. So maybe we'll get into that in another video. But they don't like the taste of our blood. So if they have another available host, they will not deal with us. But fleas also cannot live on humans. So for this very reason, it's important to keep animals treated for prevention. If you get bitten by a flea, you will notice a large reddish welt. It sometimes can be painful when they bite, and they're usually extremely itchy. You won't usually have more than one or several all over your body, so if you have that, you're dealing with something else, girl. You need to get checked out for chiggers or something, I don't know. But generally you'll see it on the extremities. The lower the better for the flea. Generally it's like ankles, feet, that kind of stuff. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And for this video, I'm going to try something different. Tell me in the comments section what flea prevention you are using. Keep on hopping!